calling to order the meeting of the Planning Commission of June 5th, 2014. We have present with us Laura Davini and Mark Schifford. My name is Eduardo Simeoni. Our chair, Paul Travis, is not present today for personal reasons. Today's meeting, it's just to review some of the next steps that we're going to take. It's going to be a quick meeting. Basically, we're left with the sewer district request for proposal. As you recall, we've worked for some years in order to prepare a village master plan, which would define the development once a sewer district was implemented. And a couple of months ago, we had a presentation by Frank Russo, president of H2M, which is an engineering and architectural firm, where he outlined the issues that are involved in implementing a sewer system. Among them, the type of system that would be most appropriate for our needs, and he discussed a low-pressure system within a membrane bioreact system. It's a wastewater treatment system. The timeline we found out in order to implement the system is at least 5 years. So it's a long process, so it's very important, I think, that we try to jumpstart at least the request for proposal and the choice of engineers. The cost is around $25 million. And we had to decide the type of entity that would manage the system, which is either managed by the county or by the village. And I think we had decided that the most probably the village would be managing the system. Then there was a question of approvals, in particular whether the system would need the approval of the village or whether it just needs to be approved and implemented by the Board of Trustees. And for this type of system, it turns out that the Board of Trustees will have the decision-making authority. At this point, the next step is to present a request for proposal to various engineering firms
and law firms. To help us.
To
help.
Of course, I'll get there. Engineering firms that will give us an outline of how they would proceed with the plan for the sewer and what kind of sewer they would also recommend. We would like to fast track this, so we're going to ask for a request for proposal that is an outline and not a detailed proposal, so that we can receive these proposals within the next month or so, and be able to interview the firms that we feel are most appropriate to the task in our July meeting. The next thing, the next issue that we have on, I'll come to you. Let me just go through this, and then I'll let you talk about how we're going to advertise it. The next issue that we are looking at is the North Sea Road rezoning. We did receive from Nelson Pope and Voorhis a scope of services which outlined how we would proceed with the analyses, the SECRA, all the various steps. This was submitted to us, I think, also a couple of months ago. The next step really is the funding for the study, and we believe that we'll be able to have the funding within the next 60 days or so, at which point we will proceed with the study, and hopefully within the next 3 months we will have that on our desk so that we can look it over and submit it to the trustees for approval. Last but not least, or actually least probably, is a zoning issue that's it's been called the Farrell controversy, and it was brought to our attention as the issue of large building on small lots, which we had discussed extensively and worked extensively on years ago, and which I believe we have resolved. But this issue really turned out to be a small house on a large lot. That is, the lot is 1.5 acres. The house is below the what is allowed on that size property. So I think it's more a question of the neighbors, how they see the project, more than the zoning itself. So we will review accessory buildings on lots to see if there's some issues that still need to be looked into, and that we'll do in the next couple of meetings. And that's about it. However, Mark, who's been very involved with the sewer project, and he really, put most of it together, I would say. He's also wants to have a word about how we're going to go about advertising for it.
Right, so I prepared a little motion for us to request that the Board of Trustees, I'm going to read the motion here. I said, and I put, is that given the need to address the wastewater pollution issues in the village business district, as outlined in the previous studies from the county, the presentation at H2M, and as outlined in the master plan, we would like to recommend to the Board of Trustees to authorize the village administrator to post 2 advertisements in the New York State Contract Reporter, or any other publication that may be deemed appropriate, seeking requests for qualification and a request for proposal from both an engineering firm as well as a law firm to develop what's called the map and plan for the formation of a sewer district for the village. So I have drafted here 2 advertisements, and on these advertisements we are proposing to, so if it gets, if the trustees agree to it, then it will be posted most likely on the next day on the Contract Reporter by let's say June 14th, and we will then have a little packet, information packet, that will include the New York State guidelines for qualification-based selection. So we're going to do it just as, if you want, I have some of these copies for you, copies of this for you. So, and then we're asking for the firms to respond by July 7th. So we think that right now, those dates can always be changed or amended, but right now we're asking for the proposals to come on July 7th. We will then review all the proposals and then interview the firms and then make a recommendation to the Board of Trustees. So
okay, I presume these need to be reviewed and revised. So
yes, I mean the advertisement is a standard advertisement whereby we're soliciting services, and then we've done this. So if we can have this motion, and then
you're making the motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
I just have a question. The packet of information, is that a standard packet, Mark?
The packet of information is really going to be comprised of everything that we have, the master plan, the county, the study that was done by the county executive, everything that we have done so far, that gets part of the package.
Okay.
And then they submit to us a proposal to go to the next step.
Okay. I'm fine with everything except this. I would not include that as part of the packet. I mean, that's something for us to look at.
You think, I'm sorry, a second, I'm sorry. This is simply, these are standard
Right.
guidelines.
That's for us.
That's what
I would not include it with whatever you're sending out.
Okay, fine.
Okay, that's something for us to look at.
All right.
So,
Okay,
So you wouldn't put the recommendations what the county wants us to do?
No. What he's saying is
No.
there is a qualification-based selection process
Mhm.
that the New York State, it's called QBS Council. It's when you purchase services, instead of when you do for contractors, called a request, you do a bid forms, and there's the New York State has a procurement council. So there's guidelines for getting plumbers, electrician.
right. So the guidelines are for us. I would
But
not
there's a
include that.
guideline for services, and the services is called qualification-based selection, meaning that you do not select based on fees or on price. You based on selection, and they have selection criteria that that are set forth here on how you judge the firms.
So
it's
this
like-
is a standard.
but
That is
that's
a
still-
It is pretty standard,
Yeah,
yes.
but
It's a
this,
standard.
but it's still, let's say, it's for us to determine how to
Yes,
go forward.
there
So-
are some elements.
So I would not include that in any packet that you're advertising or sending out. or
Well,
whatever.
the advertisement wouldn't include that. It
No,
would be-
would not.
it-
You
no.
said you would include it in something, though.
Now, in the pack, when the advertisement, they have to come here to pick up a packet.
Yeah.
And then the packet has all the
Yeah,
information
I would
about
not
the
include this
project.
in the packet.
All right. I mean,
Okay,
here we need to follow the New
Oh,
York
we
State
need to sit
procurement.
down and discuss it.
Okay,
Okay,
fine.
all right, so for further review, the packet has to be reviewed.
Yeah, the
Right.
packet has to be reviewed.
Right.
Okay, all right, but the motion can be made
Yes,
to
the motion,
advertise.
yes, to advertise.
To actually ask the administrator if he would
Yes,
advertise.
yes.
Okay, that's the motion.
That's the motion.
Okay,
Would you like
And
to
then-
second it?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much.
Boy, that was formal.
I think that probably July 7th might be a bit of a hardship, but that's okay.
No, again, and again, that's why I want to review this. We would like to fast track it. If we're looking for an RFP, which is very extensive and complete, it's going to take them a long time to prepare. I would rather that we get an outline of an RFP so that we can get it within, if you want, July 7th, which may be an appropriate date, because our next meeting is going to be on July 17th.
Right.
So that should give us time to review what we're receiving and interview at our meeting the firms that have presented the RFPs. So,
Well, I would move that to July 10th, just because of
Okay,
the
let's
4th.
make it to July 10th.
okay, you got July.
No, let's make it July 10th. Okay,
All right, so the motion's been passed, yes?
yes,
Okay, so on to Stephen Funch.
yeah.
Okay, so that's really
And then
our meeting tonight.
The
The
only
North-
other thing was the North Sea Road
Rezoning.
Yeah.
funding.
Yes,
Yes.
We talked about that on the phone a little bit, and my understanding is that the Board of Trustees is reaching out to the property owners that will be
Exactly.
most affected by this rezone.
right.
To assist in the funding. Yeah.
Is that presenting any difficulty, do we know?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was just gonna say, some people might be a little reluctant in that they do pay taxes and everything else, and I was just gonna say that if there is reluctance, maybe there's some sort of deal that can be reached.
Well, again, this has been discussed by the mayor and
Okay,
that parties are involved, and that's why I said it's gonna be probably about 60 days or so before the funding is approved and.
approved,
and-
okay, so he's
and
not
we have
running
it.
into any issues, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Good, great.
All right, so.
But it is
there-
a request, though, I understand about the taxes, but here it is a request, it's not
For a
something. that-
study.
No, but it is a request that was originated from the property
Right.
owners. It was not something that the village thought that it had to be done.
I
So this
understand
is
that.
why we are asking the property owners to contribute.
Well, it was presented by a few property owners. I don't know if there were any exclusions to that. I
Right.
don't
No,
I
you're
don't
right.
know. I
There
don't
is
know.
an issue.
Well, you
about
have the
that.
United States Post Office is not gonna contribute anything to that.
No.
Well, you can always try.
Well, I just, because I know the presentation, it was brought to our board by one person, and then it became 3 people, and then
Right.
maybe 5 people, but we obviously haven't heard from everyone, so.
That's true.
Right. Right.
Okay.
All right, any new business?
um,
There's no new business. This next meeting will be on Thursday, July 17th,
Oh, that's nice.
and I'm closing the meeting.
Making a motion to adjourn.
Making a
Motion to adjourn.
Oh,
I
you
second
it.
Second.
I say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Eduardo.
You're welcome.